Hey nerds, Alex here from Nerds Being Geeks, and I just won my third badge using the Psychic Lost Zone. Let's get into it. That's right, I just won my third badge at GLC League at the Trading Post in Temperance, Michigan. Now, at the Trading Post, they use a 3D printer to print out the badges, and they hand paint them, and you win the badge that matches the type that you won. So this one was the Marsh badge, which is Sabrina's in Saffron City, and I was using the Psychic Lost Zone. So a few weeks ago, I did a deck profile on the Lost Zone. Well, there's not too many variants to do in the Psychic Lost Zone deck, so most of the cards, 55 most likely, are the same for every Psychic Lost Zone deck. I did a video on mine, how I built it. If you don't know, the goal for the Psychic Lost Zone deck is to get 10 cards into the Lost Zone as fast as possible. If you can get 10 cards in the Lost Zone by turn 3, I think you'll probably win that game. There's several different ways to get cards in the Lost Zone. I would say the big one is Colress's Experiment. And you look at the top 5 cards of your deck, put 3 of them in your hand and 2 into the Lost Zone, and then you continuously recycle this card to use it over and over again. And you got things like Lost Blender and Comfy with the flower selecting ability. Lets you look at the top 2 cards of your deck, put one into the Lost Zone and the other into your hand. And you got things like Lost Vacuum as well. So I just want to do like a quick run through. I did a little deeper dive into the Lost Zone deck a few weeks ago. I don't want to do that again. I just want to talk about some of the MVPs. This Yuxi has been an amazing addition to the Lost Zone. An MVP for sure. There was 4 of us that day. When I took the Lost Zone deck, I faced a fighting deck, a metal deck, and a water deck that had, you guessed it, the whale. The big old whale lord was in there, so I was kind of intimidated by that, but I was able to pull it off. And I went 3-0 that day. This card has been amazing. 2 damage counters to all of your opponent's Pokemon is incredibly powerful. It's a good way to chip damage early, so when you're able to Lost Mine, you're able to spread more damage or knock out those really high HP guys. This Mewtwo with the Mine Report, when you play this Pokemon from your hand onto your bench, during your turn you may put a supporter card from your discard pile on top of your deck. This was a great way to constantly reuse Colress's Experiment to get it on top of your deck. You know, you can things like Scoop Up Net, or you can, if it gets knocked out, or you send it to the discard pile. There are a lot of ways to bring your Pokemon back from the discard pile. This Mew was an MVP. And the art is so sick. Look at that. Hello. Oh my gosh. This Chimecho with this auspicious tone. Search your deck for a Pokemon and a supporter card, reveal them and put them in your hand, then shuffle your deck. Luckily, out of all 3 matches, I never prized my Colress's Experiment, or I never prized my Sableye, and I never prized my Mew. This thing got me Colress's Experiment several times throughout the tournament, but this thing gets the ball rolling for Colress's Experiment, or any other supporter if you need it, but that's your number 1 supporter. You can't have one without the other for me. These 2 are linked together. I always held them out, waited in my hand, or went and searched for them when I needed them. I did not want to just have them sitting on the bench to get sniped or bossed up and knocked out, and then have to worry about trying to recur them when I could use that later after I've already used Lost Mine. My goal was to always hang on to them when I got 10 cards in the Lost Zone, I always promoted Mew and had Sableye on the bench and just used Memories of Dawn. This Pokemon can use the attacks of any of your basic Pokemon in play. You still need the necessary energy. So what I was doing was just, Sableye on the bench, Mew in the active, copy Lost Mine, 12 damage counters anywhere I want. Mew had 50 HP. If I got knocked out, boom, I can bring Sableye up, 12 damage counters anywhere I want. Get knocked out. Things like Rescue Stretcher or Tulip or Rescue Carrier, boom, get them back in my hand. Boom, boom, and just keep doing it. It was awesome. These two go together for me. They are peanut butter and jelly. These other Pokemon ended up being Lost Zone fodder. I used Comfy maybe in like my third match. Hardly used him. Bayonet, I used one time. I think I sent him to the Lost Zone. Mr. Mime actually did some work because I was facing Ting Lu. I did 30 damage to everything if it discarded a stadium in play. So Mr. Mime definitely helped out as well with that bench barrier. Never had to use Mimikyu. I did Unknown once or twice. And Meloetta is a less good Uxie. I never hit 3 damage counters. I think I did 1 and 2. So it can do some chip damage, but I've also bricked on this card before. Pokestop helped quite a bit actually, because I had an opponent that would use it. Actually, all my opponents tried Pokestop and they got annihilated by it. They were discarding 3 energies. They were discarding supporters, or in the metal deck, I think they discarded their Magnezone and their Magneton using the Pokestop. Pokestop did some work on milling my opponent and getting some incredibly strong resources into their discard pile. Me, I think I was pulling items all the time, so an amazing card for this deck for sure. Spell Tag actually knocked out at least 1 or 2 Pokemon, putting those 4 damage counters anywhere I wanted. It was a great tool card. It definitely came in clutch. Tulip was amazing. Incredible recovery card. Put up to 4 in any combination of Psychic Pokemon and a basic Psychic Energy from your discard pile into your hand when you only play 4 basic energies. Yeah, an amazing recovery card. And then just to get back any of those Psychic Pokemon, which were mostly Mew and Sableye. Great card. I actually pulled this full art, so pretty stoked about that. And then the man of the hour, Colress's Experiment. This is the bread to the peanut butter and jelly sandwich that is Mew and Sableye. This card, I just reoccurred it 3 times in a row, and you top that with Lost Blender or Lost Vacuum or Comfy or Bayonet. You're getting those cards into the Lost Zone very quickly. Alright guys, that is my Lost Zone deck. Let me know your thoughts. It was really cool that I was able to beat the whale. That was I was scared for that. I was about to build a Dusk Bunnies deck with Dusknoir and some other psychic spread, but I just decided to pull the trigger on the Lost Zone. I really love this archetype. I think it's really fun to play. It's a really cool puzzle to solve every match. And the trading post has a 3D printer and they hand paint their badges for you, so it's cool to have this physical piece. Alright guys, that's 3 badges now. Which one am I going to go for next? I got Grass, I got Lightning, and I got Psychic. I really wanted to try and finish the Kanto badges, but I might jump over and do a colorless deck next. We'll see what happens. I will keep you updated. Thanks for watching.